as we continue dissecting the local government elections. Let's take you now to the Free State, where the IEC has just wrapped up its presentation at the Results Operations Center in Mangaung. Our reporter, Tumaole Mohlaoli, is there. Tumaole, a very good afternoon to you. What is it looking like, really? I think that's one of the few places where the African National Congress has really done exceedingly well, where they've managed to actually get an outright majority.
Absolutely, Tammy, an outright majority, and this really would speak to the work that the African National Congress put in the lead-up to the local government elections. We saw everyone from the NEC, including, of course, the Deputy President of the party and the President of the party, Cyril Ramaphosa. Deputy President of the ANC would be, of course, David Mabuza. They were going all over the province and, canvassing to the people, going to the far-flung areas, not only focusing on metros, not only, well, the metro would be Mangaung, but not only focusing on the big cities and the CBDs, and they were going to the grassroots right up into the rural far-flung areas and taking a message of, asking for party forgiveness. So let me give you the results as they stand. The results that we got, the preliminary results from here, is that in the municipalities of Letsimeng, the ANC has come in with 65.4% of the vote, followed by the DA with 16.33% and the EFF with 11.33%. Now, if we go to the Masilonyana municipality, the ANC has come in with 56.7%, and the DA following with 9.44%, and the EFF with 19% there. And then when you go further down to Setsoto, again, the ANC coming out with a strong showing, 51.14%, and the DA with 7.01%. And you have independent, the SSDF. It's a small party. It was just formed shortly before this local government election, and they won 22.84%. Now, what this speaks to, this is very interesting, is the fact that with the parties that are based mainly on service delivery issues, the communities in those areas have seemingly backed them. And this is an interesting statistic because this party was formed after residents basically were complaining about a lack of service delivery. Now, the ANC in the province is very, very buoyed by these results, saying that it shows that they've been given certainly another mandate by those who are party supporters. And they say this time they will ensure that the promises that were made on the election trail will be delivered. So the IEC is going to be waiting for the final results from Pretoria to be tallied and to be officially announced. And from this side, they're basically wrapping up. We see that we have officials here that are just, making sure that they are de-rigging the computers. I'll see if my colleague Mrana Lekitla can just give you a shot. You would see that it's practically empty. It was quite a buzz during the week, and there you go. People are unplugging the PCs. Nothing further more to be done on this side, and they will be done with that later this afternoon. So this is the end of the road for the Free State ROC as we see there in the shot.
I tell you what, Tumaole, nothing says fait accompli, nothing says it's over than a shot of that, computers being unplugged and everything being wrapped up. Well, thank you so much. We move from Tumaole, who's in the Free State, to KwaZulu-Natal, where the IEC's acting provincial electoral officer, Ntomifuthi Masinga, says that 78 political parties were contesting in the province with over 5 million voters. Now, this is nearly 3 times more political parties in comparison to the last elections. Let's go live to our reporter, Nkosikona Duma, who was attending that briefing a bit earlier on. Nkosikona, give us a bit of a roundup to what came out of that. We did also see the secretary, Untuli, talking about the performance of the African National Congress, and dare I say, even speaking about the African National Congress forming coalitions and the African National Congress being on the opposition seats?
Well, Tammy, I will tell you that it has been an eventful election process here in KwaZulu-Natal. And I will tell you also that the IEC is saying that this is their toughest election process yet. That's because they've just had lesser time for everything. It was unprecedented, really, planning for these election processes. But in the end, key events that emerged out of this particular election is that the ANC emerged as the biggest loser, Tammy, because it has lost the eThekwini Metro. So those details became clearer today. The IFP becoming, the biggest winner of these elections because they have garnered, they've made a return. I say they've made a return, Tammy, because the IFP has previously governed KwaZulu-Natal. In fact, they governed KwaZulu-Natal for the first 10 years of South Africa's democratic dispensation. And in these elections, they've seemingly, benefited from the low voter turnout. The DA as well has, secured his first municipality in the province. We also see the National Freedom Party, the party that was founded by the late Zanele Kamagwaza Msibi, essentially a breakaway party from the Inkatha Freedom Party, also making a strong comeback in the area of Edumbe. In fact, it is leading with votes, although that municipality right now appears to be a hung municipality. It's going to be interesting whether the ANC will allow, of course, the NFP to lead that municipality now that political parties are looking forward in terms of coalition talks. Also, you touch on the issue of Mr. Mdumiseni Ntuli, that is, of course, the provincial secretary for the ANC. Tammy, though we had a briefing with the ANC provincial secretary Mdumiseni Ntuli, the KZN chairperson of the ANC, Sihle Zikalala, was also the premier and the spokesperson for the province, Tlagani Pontombela. I'll tell you that those three men, Tammy, were defeated, by the election outcomes. The ANC has performed dismally, suffering great electoral blows, but they have said that they are taking full account, so they are taking full responsibility for the ANC's poor performance in the polls, that the ANC will now be discussing possible coalition talks for eThekwini, which is something that many did not see coming. Even the opposition parties here at this venue, when we talk to them, they are saying they are, they're surprised by this. But, before we move along, I want to show you some images, my colleague Pilani Zuma, showing you those preliminary results that were announced by Ntombifuthi Masinga, who is, of course, leading the IEC here in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm just going to tell you that, Tammy, the ANC, out of this process, is now leading about 13 councils, so it's in full control of 13 councils, but it is, of course, leading in hung municipality, which includes hung municipalities, of course, about 24 municipalities. The DA, of course, coming into these elections and winning the Umgeni local municipality. In KwaZulu-Natal, Tammy, there are about 21 hung municipalities, according, of course, to the IEC. So that number is a dramatic increase because, at the last count, it sets around 11. Of course, KwaZulu-Natal has about 44 councils, and only about 23 of those have a clear majority. So it is a tough situation for, of course, the governing party, and I guess also for residents who are now going to have to grapple with, of course, with coalition governments. Also, the big winners in KwaZulu-Natal, I'll tell you, Tammy, according to these figures that we are looking at, that we are showing you, is, of course, the economic freedom fighters. They have come very, very strongly, especially in eThekwini. So at the last elections, they just had about 3.64% of the votes, and at these elections, that number has now surpassed 10%. If you look at those figures that my colleague Pilani Zuma showing you, the EFF has secured just about 150 council seats. Unfortunately, they still do not control any ward in KwaZulu-Natal, so they do not have an actual governance, chance after these elections. But they will play an important part, of course, when it comes to coalition discussions, because even in eThekwini alone, where the ANC and the DA are leading, the EFF, of course, is that party that both parties can speak to in terms of coalitions, because the ANC has already come out saying that they're not going to go into any coalitions, of course, with the DA.